Hi again, Zack Attack is here with my WWE Payback review for April the 30th of 2017 from the SAP Center in San Jose, California. Heading into this pay-per-view, the hype for this pay-per-view was very minimal. The card was okay. We had no title match, no major title match. Of course, Les was not defending it until that badly named Great Balls of Fire. I'll discuss that during this video, but my thoughts on that shitty ass name. And the hype for the pay-per-view was summed up by a shitty go-home show for Monday Night Raw this past Monday. So, how did the pay-per-view end up with so much little hype? Well, let's say this. It was not as bad as we thought it was going to be. It wasn't a shitty pay-per-view. It was a so-so pay-per-view. It almost played out like WrestleMania, without any 4 or 5 star matches. The first half was about a half. We had 2 big title changes, including one we did. I think both we didn't see coming. But the second half really dropped off, especially after that one match, which made us say one thing: thank God Orton and Wyatt's feud is over. A lot of people will be indifferent. A lot of people have their opinions towards their House of Horrors match. That kind of drove down the pay-per-view a bit. Main event had a good ending. Or should I say, the right ending, as you see from my subtitle. At least we can walk out of the pay-per-view saying one thing: the main event, the right person fucking won for once. Usually we have a bad ending for pay-per-views, especially for this one. We were heading in that direction. But we had a good ending for a so-so pay-per-view. With that, I'll give this a 6.0. I'm giving it that because if you had maybe 1 or 2 better matches, and pay-per-view didn't really drop off after the Orton Wyatt match and sucked the air out of the room, then it would have been good. But for being a D-list pay-per-view, it wasn't as bad as we thought. It was better. There were some bad things still, but there wasn't as much bad or overrated. But still, it was an okay pay-per-view. Kick things off with, for the billionth time, or the trillionth, I'm losing count, the club against Enzo and Cass. These two came up to the main roster at the same time. And both have been kind of floundering with senseless feuds, and in the club's case, senseless, pointless comedy. These two faced off a couple weeks back on Raw, with the club winning, with that weird ending. And then Enzo got attacked last week before he scheduled 6-man tag, prompting this match to take place. It's like we had a superstar shakeup recently with all these stars from SmackDown and Raw trading brands, and yet we still have feuds continuing, including this one. So Enzo got started to get offensive early. You know, the entrance is getting. I love their entrance, but man, they've been kind of floundering a bit. They're still over as hell, but not as much as they used to be. Then he got double teamed by the club, and it's isolating Enzo more in the corner with the quick tags in and out, and just taking him down, refusing to get him to tag in Cass. There was one point we thought he had to tag to Cass at one point, but his hand barely touched Cass's before Gallows tripped Enzo up. And they even like various opportunities for Enzo to tagging Cass, from Enzo being blocked from it the first time, then Anderson's partner Gallows tripping up Cass just as Enzo was launching into that wing post to tag him in. But then the isolation game did end, as Enzo got some big offensive moves to get in big ass, coming in like a house of fire at any adjective you want. Big boots and delivering the Empire Elbow at one point. Under Gallows. And splashes him in the corner as well. And then Enzo blind tagged himself in. After Anderson and Gallows got a little one-upmanship on Cass, Enzo got nailed. And then he was setting up the Magic Killer. Gallows and Anderson was setting up on Enzo. Interesting ending. Gallows got booted by Cass, with that momentum causing Enzo to roll up Anderson. 1, 2, 3, Enzo and Cass win! On a kind of a weird fluky like finish with Enzo being rolled up in the Anderson's partner, Anderson following Cass's block of the Magic Kill. Interesting ending. At least there was no botching like the Raw match was. But Enzo and Cass get the victory. 2.5. This was just okay. Hopefully they don't face off again. But both teams, this didn't do nothing for them. Both guys have been floundering in the tag team roster for a bit. Since they've been on the main roster, like I said, for over a year, both these guys have been floundering in little senseless feuds. Enzo and Cass with Rusev and Gallows Anderson with the New Day. So, there you go. This doesn't help anybody. This doesn't defer anybody. These two just face off a bunch of times. Hopefully, they don't face off ever again. Or at least for another 2 years. Now on to the other thing in the pre-show. We had Miz TV with Finn Balor. I thought Miz and Ambrose were still feuding. Speaking of, like I said, feuds that still continue despite the shakeup, we had one feud imported from SmackDown on Raw. That was Ambrose and Miz. We thought it would lead towards an IC title match. But that wasn't the case. We had Miz TV with Finn Balor. Apparently we may see a Finn-Miz feud before a Finn Balor feud. I'll get a little promo here with Balor saying that Miz wants to be a part of the Balor Club, but you may be part of the Finn Balor kicked my ass club. Finn got nailed by Miz in a scathing promo. Miz, classic again. Nearly about Balor saying, you might be a failure. You had all this success in NXT. You went to the main roster, you got injured your first night, and you had to strip the title 24 hours later. But he still finished the match, as we all know, the match against Rollins. And as Balor's going to beat up Miz put his wife up as a shield. And Balor walked away because he didn't want to hit a woman. Miz started taunting Balor some more about his injury, being a coward. Then bang! Balor came back with a sling blade. Delivery pin kicked to Miz, tossing him out of the ring. With Vince standing on Miz TV. Basically, Miz was saying, all the Miz TVs ends with me everybody kicking my ass. I don't want that to end that way again. Well, it did. Miz did get his ass kicked by Finn Balor. So, like I said, does this mean the Ambrose feud's over? Does this mean we're going to see a Balor feud with Miz now? So, we shall see how that goes. See what kind of direction they do. Because Balor's been kind of... A lot of momentum's been lost on Balor. Me, my dad, and my friend were watching it. We all agreed. Balor's momentum is kind of skidded because he's been kind of floundering around. The concussion didn't help either. They suffered from Jinder Mahal. That didn't help either. At least they have him on TV still. But he needs something sufficient and quick. Something long-term and quick. Whether it's a Miz feud or if you may want to see Bray Wyatt and Finn Balor. But after seeing Wyatt and Orton in the way their feud went, well, hopefully not as stupid as the Owen Wyatt stuff. Now on to our first match of the main card. For the United States Championship, Kevin Owens, the new face of America, I love that, defending the title against Chris Jericho. This was slated to be his last pay-per-view before heading on the road to Fozzy. Or is it? Bum bum bum! The match itself, let's say this. Better pacing than WrestleMania. Started off a lot faster than Braun on the outside and Owens delivering a nasty cannonball on the outside. I think almost like he did at Mania. But it was better paced. It was more of a slow burn at Mania. More methodical match at Mania. But it was more faster paced with Jericho getting some offense early after the initial onslaught from Owens on the outside, including that cannonball on the outside onto the ring announcers area. The timekeepers area, like against the barricade there. You did a lion salt, and big drop kicks, and trying to get back in the game here. And putting Owens, various attempts, various times trying to put him in the walls of Jericho. But Owens would come flying back with his own moves, super kicks, big DDTs, and even another cannonball on the apron, on the turnbuckle this time. And there was some cool little counters with Owens doing the Papa Power Bomb various times, and it was countered one time by Jericho and Hook Kamana. That was a good little counter there. There's another counter. That was the Hook Kamana into the walls of Jericho, should I say that. He did a counter from the Papa Power Bomb to the Hook Kamana walls of Jericho. And Owens, you little entertaining bastard, did it again. He used his index finger to get out of the hold. Just like WrestleMania got that index finger, that wee little finger, to break up a pinning attempt by Jericho. And you know what happens when you put your index finger on the rope? You made the list. You just made the list. And you get it smashed by Chris Jericho. Jericho took Owens on the outside and literally put his hand underneath the steel steps and kicked it, smashed his hand. Despite that little handicap, Owens did try the up powerbomb, but couldn't do it. Got set up again in the wall to Jericho, and this time Owens tapped. Wow, shocker! That stunned me. That shocked a lot of people, cause we knew Jericho's leaving for the Fozzy tour, as I just mentioned in the beginning here, and we were like, I even said to my dad watching, they're going to have Owens and Jericho first, so, hey, Owens wins, let's just move on, because we know Owens is going to win, because of Jericho's situation with Fozzy. But, it didn't open the pay-per-view, but Jericho won. At least he went with the Walls of Jericho for the first time in a while, so yay. And the crowd was on his side, that was another good thing. The crowd was definitely on Jericho's side. It was the first time I really heard Owens get booed in a long time, because there's people cheering for Owens. But now he's back to the badass Kevin Owens. We love the NXT, bringing that back into the main roster and getting booed. And Jericho getting cheered out the ass. I think with the added leverage of this being one of his last pay-per-view appearances, made the crowd cheer for more. I did like the little moment at the end where he went to a fan who had a clip for one of those $25 clipboards that says the list of Jericho. I'd rather pay $10 for it. And he signed it with a kid. You just made the list. That was funny. Great interaction there from Jericho. That's why everybody loves Jericho. You can't hate him. He had one of his best one of his career recently. Getting, who'd thought only Jericho can get stupid idiot over. So a lot of stupid idiot signs with Owens' face on it. And get a list over. 3.8 for this one. A little better than Mania match. More faster pace. Didn't put on the classics we thought they were going to do. But still, had good chemistry though in and out of the ring. As a team and with each other. But that begs the question. Jericho goes to SmackDown now with this win. But how long is he going to have the championship? And how is he going to lose it? With him going to Fozzy, what's going to happen? Is he going to pull a Brock Lesnar and walk away with the belt and then go away for like 5 months and defend it? Is he going to lose it on Tuesday? Is he going to forfeit it? And there's going to be some sort of screwy finish they're going to add, like saying Owens' elbow was up during the tap out, or who knows what they're going to do. But they're going to have Jericho lose the title somehow, some way, on Tuesday to have a full-time U.S. champion. We don't need another part-time champion. I love Jericho, but we don't need another part-time champion. We only have one part-time champion on the Raw roster. Or in this case, the SmackDown roster is going to have the part-time champion. We don't need it. We need a mid-card championship on SmackDown. So, we'll see what happens with this. Will Jericho walk out with it on Tuesday? Or really lose it in a match or forfeit it. We shall see. On with the next matchup. Cruiserweight title time. It's Neville against Austin Aries. Another Mania rematch. At least it's on the main roster this time. Main card. Yay! Not as good as the Mania match. I think they were more motivated about being on a pre-show than anything. But the match was still pretty good though. Hugh Neville's terrific. Yet again. And Neville came in with some big moves. Some big kicks, some more methodical moves with the chin locks and all that. And then Aries and Neville exchanged some little holds, including Aries posing a bit. And they would go for big splashes, for 450 on the floor. Pulling a little bit, even doing a big splash. Suicide down the outside. That was a cool little spot there. And then he did a pendulum backbreaker. But despite Aries' best efforts to get back in the game with the offensive moves, Neville will come back with more methodical moves. And a big neck breaker from Aries as well after the Neville onslaught. And then there was a 450 attempt. There was, of course, various attempts at the discus forearm. And Aries' submission as well. And we didn't see Neville attempt like the Red Arrow or the Wings of Saturn move. But as we get towards midway towards the match, like the climax of the match, crescendo, as much as picking up a bit, with the symbol thing, there was a cool spot on the middle rope, I think, during this match. I'm trying to remember it. I'm a little tired today. We get towards the climax, I was like, are we going to have a shitty ending here? Or are we going to have a screwy ending? Because we've seen TJ Perkins align himself with Neville. So I was like, in the back of my head, are we going to see TJ Perkins come out? Call a screwy ending. Well, we have the good news. In the quote, Wade Barrett, I'm afraid I got some bad news, too. The good news is, we didn't see TJ Perkins come out at all. Bad news, we still had a screwy ending. A DQ. As Aries had Neville where we wanted him, he put Neville in the last chancery, and Neville was trying to get to the ball, and then he grabbed the referee, pulled him by the shirt, tossed him down, referee called the match, disqualification, Neville retains, Aries wins. So, where do we go from here? Does this feud continue, or do we get another competitor? But with not a lot of good babyface options for Neville, because he's faced Gallagher so many times, Neville so many times, he's faced Swan so many times, because I would love to see him take on Mustafa Ali for the title. But after the reaction that Mustafa Ali got for the War After Mania, hell, a beach ball got more cheers than him. That's fucking sad, but the storyline and character development on 205 Live and the overall cruiserweight division are developing a lot of baby faces for people to cheer for against Neville, besides 3 that have all faced and lost to Neville many times. So we need some more face guys, more development on that, especially with Mustafa Ali is probably the closest thing. The next guy to get it, but after the reaction he got in a match against Neville at Mania, after Mania Wall, who knows if they're going to give him a title match. 3.5. The ending deducted a lot of points for me. Deducted points was the ending of the match. So we may see another match between these two guys. Maybe at the next pay-per-view. It is Extreme Rules, the next Wall pay-per-view. I think it's in June. Because I know that SmackDown's got the Backlash coming up May 21st. Which, I'll say it now, I am not making a review for Backlash. I'm going to be at Rock on the Range. Seeing Metallica that night with Soundgarden and Core the other day, so there will not be a Backlash review. So, there we go. Now, after that, we had all the title matches in a row. Next, the tag team titles, the Raw tag team titles on the line, with the Hardys defending against Cesaro and Sheamus. If there was any match you can call it the match of the night, this is it. Hardys stole pay-per-view yet again. Hard-hitting affair with Cesaro and Sheamus. And this is the first time in Matt Hardy's return that we've seen him blatantly, openly use his mannerisms. We've seen little bit of glimpses of the brokenness of Matt Hardy showing up in his promos and in the ring. But rumors were starting flying over the weekend that WWE bought out the gimmick from Anthem after they were involved in a nasty lawsuit with the Hardys concerning ownership of the gimmick. But now with that rumor flying, this may have come to fruition with Hardy coming out. Like, he's done that a couple times, but it's the first time you've seen him do this and actually say, delete! It was like, yeah! Wonderful! So, he's been doing brokenness on Twitter and all, but now it's going to be the first sign of it, especially after the match itself. So, the brokenness of Hardy stood out, and his brother Neville got a big pop again. You know, brother Neville. But after Jeff got in, Cesaro and Sheamus took advantage. They loved the nostalgia, but they wanted to focus on the present. And they worked on Jeff a little bit. Before Matt got in, got some big moves in. But then Jeff did a crotch thing. He even did a whisper. I think he did like a double whisper and went to both Cesaro and Sheamus at one point. And, the double tagging to Jeff, and, isolation of Jeff with Sheamus coming with the wanting senton. I like the white noise up the second rope. That was a good spot that he did. That was like one of the vicious white noises I've ever seen. It was like hard-hitting back and forth action. with both these teams, with Cesaro coming with the sharpshooter at one point after the ring. On to Jeff. And then Matt came in, trying to go for the twist of fate. And then Sheamus would go on to DDT, and then Jeff Hardy would come in. And then the senton onto Matt, but Matt wasn't legal. Matt wasn't legal. So Sheamus was stunned, and with him pinning the illegal guy, the illegal man, Jeff Hardy, nailed the swanton bomb onto Sheamus, pinning him 1-2-3 victory for the Hardys, retaining the Raw Tag Team Championships. Now, we've been seeing this exchange for the last couple of weeks, is that we've seen these two having a little bit of sportsmanship. Despite some tension with the same shows as Sheamus and Cesaro, some desperate moves, you know, some desperation, some tension, and some, like, anger, and frustration, should I say. They did shake their hands at the Hardys after the match like they've been doing the last couple of weeks. But, unlike the last couple of weeks, they sneak attacked them. They were celebrating after, well, there had been Hardys were celebrating after the handshake, and then out of nowhere, Jeff got drop kicked off the top rope onto from Cesaro, and the beatdown was on. Bro kick and everything. So Sheamus and Cesaro are full on heel. Now Sheamus was already a heel, teaming up with Cesaro. Now they're both heels. Cesaro was a good heel when he first came in the company, and now he's here with Sheamus. That's something new that adds a little more depth to it. And the beatdown could cause Matt Hardy to be broken, because he bled a bit, and Jeff's tooth fell off too during the match. 4.0 for being hard-hitting and being the closest thing to the match of the night material. So, like I said already as well, we had all the title matches all in a row. So let's get to the final title match of the night, because we didn't get a mid-card title match. Well, we didn't get like IC title match, no Universal title, but we did get the Raw Women's title on the line with the hometown gal Bayley defending a Raw Women's title against Alexa Bliss, who wanted her hometown in Columbus recently to get this title shot in the first place. These two had faced off various times in NXT when Bayley was the NXT Women's Champion. I think it was like November 2015 they faced off. Bliss was still learning and being a great heel at the time, like really enhancing her heel character a bit, especially after breaking off from Blake and Murphy. Where the fuck did they go? But a couple years later, Bliss is getting better. It's probably one of the best outings on the main roster. That sunset flip bomb she did was really good. A couple good spots here. The decent little women's match. You know, better than usual. At least it's new blood instead of like Bayley's Sasha or Bayley Charlotte for the billionth time. And like the Cruiserweight title match, we thought we would see a little bit of interference with Sasha Banks getting involved. Because we've seen her get involved a little bit too much in Bayley's title matches. Including the last pay-per-view title match that wasn't WrestleMania. Yeah, be Pacific. Bayley's last singles title match. Sasha got involved. That was, of course, Bayley Charlotte at Fastlane. But we didn't see Sasha during the match. We did see her during the pre-show being interviewed, but she stayed out of the match. Thank God. So Bayley had the momentum on her side after the offense from Bliss on the outside, focusing on Bayley's legs. But then Bayley was targeting the legs too of Bliss. Comes with the big elbows. He did the elbow from the top, and of course was trying various times for the Bayley to belly. You know, she was trying to do a super belly, a Bayley to belly at the top, but they never really pay off. And then the ending came as Bliss and Bayley were fighting off. Bliss had Bayley pin various exchanges, but it was Bayley pinning Bliss, and Bliss tossed Bayley off her so hard, Bayley landed headfirst into the ring post. Nasty bump that Bayley took, and that was the beginning of the end. Bayley used every ounce of energy she had left to roll up Bliss, but couldn't get it done and got suckered into a DDT from Bliss. Double the impact of that and add on to the damage of the DDT, let alone the bump against the post. Bliss got her down. 1, 2, 3. Bliss wins the Raw Women's Championship against Bayley in her hometown. Now, we've seen people win in the hometown and also lose in the hometown. We've seen Cena beat Edge in Toronto, his hometown. Edge beat up Cena in his hometown of Boston. And hell, we've seen Sasha Banks lose in Boston, Hell in a Cell, to Charlotte. And now we've seen Bayley lose against Alexa Bliss. With Bliss making history tonight, we've seen Charlotte make history, but now we've seen Bliss make history as the first woman to win both the Raw and SmackDown Women's Championships. That's a great accomplishment for such a young, thriving young woman. And I'm a fan of Bliss's, and I'm a fan of Bayley. I didn't care who won. You know, I thought I was wanting Bliss to win, but I was like, Bayley could win. But wow, 2 shocking title changes. First with Jericho, and now Bliss. So there you go. I'll give it a 3.3, just because it was decent. Well, the home audience was enjoying it, especially seeing Bliss winning. The arena audience was kind of down from seeing the hometown girl win. And they had the opportunity to pick up momentum. But after seeing Bliss and Bayley, momentum on the pay-per-view, at home and in the arena, went downhill. And if it wasn't enough to see their hometown girl win, the House of Horrors match was next. Or at least part 1. The taped portion. It was kind of like the Hollywood backlot brawl between Goldust and Roddy Piper at Mania 12. But cheesier and cornier. They started out this house and they went back to the arena. Now, a lot of people have their opinions on it. They have been doing this little creepy, broken hearty-like stuff with Bray for a while. Hell, we saw that beatdown with the Wyatts against the New Day back in July, which ironically aired after the final deletion. So it was like weird to have, it was like bad timing, because you could be called out as being copycats for copying the Hardy's style, like guerrilla style filming. And a lot of people may not like the corniness of the broken hardiness, like the way they shoot things and the way they just brawl on the outside of things. And this was not a good situation. The match at Mania sucked. The match at No Mercy sucked. And Orton and Wyatt are kind of like Lesnar and Triple H. No matter what stipulation you add to the match, it still sucks. And this was more funny than scary. Like, there was one point doing, like, they were like, it started with Orton, and they purposely didn't have the in-crowd audio. Because if they had the crowd audio, you could hear the boos and booing chants, from what I heard from Scavenger reports on Twitter. So Orton went to this house in a limo, blue lining, ran in, and Wyatt just appeared the fuck out of nowhere and attacked him in the living room after seeing like creepy things like a tractor running by itself and the limo opening by itself, like little creepy little things. And they went to these rooms. The room that got me laughing was the room with the baby dolls pushed up on the wall. I just busted out laughing during that portion of it. And there was this one room, didn't even find it, this dimly red room with like antlers and like this creepy imagery. They're trying to provoke a creepy attitude. If this would have been like during the Attitude Era with more leverage and not a lot of limitations for being a TV PG show, would have gone more violent, this would have been better in the Attitude Era. But the way it is now, it's so PC and PG, it won't go over well now. Because it wasn't as violent as it should have been. It was more cheesy. Both guys a little upper hands, there's a little brawling here and there. No weapon uses at all, for the most part, until we got to the kitchen. Wyatt almost used a frying pan on Orton. And then he basically lifted up a refrigerator and crushed Orton with it. But it was a weird angle, so Orton may have not been crushed. But no matter what, Orton got crushed by the fridge, and Orton laid out. Bray was like tired. He was like breathing heavily. He walked out of the house, kneeled down, said, "Follow the buzzers." The lighting changed to red. And with Owens still laid out, Bray basically took Owens' limousine, took it back into the arena. And later on, after the Rollins-Joe match, we would see the conclusion of this match as Bray went back to the arena, made his entrance, lights dimmed, then Owen appeared to fucking out of nowhere like Wyatt did. It's like, wait a minute, how the hell did you get here? You were crushed by a fridge. And then bang, Owen with his ball on the outside of Bray, smashing him on a table. Nearly with a chair as well, and just brought a little bit on the outside, including a great attempt at the RKO. But then, speaking of out of nowhere, is that a theme in this match? Things come out of nowhere? We saw the Bollywood Boys, the Singh brothers, of course, the new associates of the new number one contender. Yeah, it's still weird to say it too. The new number one contender for the WWE Championship, Jinder Mahal, his cronies. The Bollywood Boys came out from the crowd and attacked Orton. And Bray almost took the bait and almost nailed Orton with his sister Abigail. Then Orton nailed a beautiful RKO on Bray. And then Jinder Mahal came with the WWE Championship he stole from Orton on SmackDown. Nailed him in the head. And then Bray nailed Sister Abigail. And he won. Yeah, he won a feud even though it was dirty. And it wasn't pretty. It ain't dirty, and it was not pretty at all. 2.5. The white guy won. Bray finally won the feud. But more importantly, we get to say hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Why Orton's feud is fucking over? Like, it had a good thing going, it built up good, and then it just went down to shit. With the shitty matches and the weird things happening, and this is the shit good. Which, like, I dug it for a bit, but then I laughed a little bit. I knew they were trying to do something different, even though they kind of copied the Hardys, but still, it was kind of like a weird little thing, but now people liked it. I think the majority didn't like it. You can hear it from the arena. And especially coming out of that, the pay-per-view kind of lagged from there until our main event. Which I felt bad for Joe and Seth Rollins to follow the first half of that match. With the crowd dead for barely losing and then having to watch 10 minutes of that House of Horrors mess. Hell, I would have seen a Chamber of Horrors and a House of Horrors. That's how low it might be. But, hey, CBPG, don't forget. Anywho, Joe and Rollins, the match that happened 2 months too late. Supposed to happen at Fastlane. To set up the Rollins Triple H match at Mania. Till during Joe's main roster debut, he kind of hurt Rollins by landing awkwardly on his knee doing Nikita Clutch. So the match never happened at Fastlane. Joe took on Sami Zayn instead, valiantly. But now, one of the matches should have been at Fastlane. The match itself was okay. With the crowd dead from the Bailey thing, then add on the shitty House of Horrors situation. Some people may say. Match was kind of like a beatdown match. For the most part. Like, they had okay chemistry, but it was kind of a slow burn. And this should have been a lot more exciting, but it should have been more exciting, especially for the fans. They're going to back in the pay-per-view after the segment they just had to endure. And Joe was definitely targeting the knee of Rollins throughout the entire matchup. Despite Rollins coming in early with some aggressive moves, including a suicide dive. But then, like I said, on the outside after that dive, Joe would nail the knee and target it throughout the match. Doing a knee bar at one point, and even trying to get a clutch. But then Rollins coming with big moves, kicked him in the face, and he nails some of his big moves, the Blockbuster and the Falcon Arrow, but didn't do his new finisher. Spoiler alert, he didn't do his new finisher. He premiered on Raw on Monday. Kind of like Kenny Omega's move, a clothesline with a knee. I said in my review of Raw, it's like a combination of Nakamura and Okada's finishers, but it's like combine those two finishers with Omega too. So there you go. So then it was like I said, after the slow start, it got a little bit going, a little bit of aggressiveness with Joe coming with the big moves. Like I said, going for the knees, even going for the choke at one point. And then it was an interesting ending as well. After the numerous attempts looking at the clutch, Joe got the clutch in. And then all of a sudden, Rollins would counter Joe's submission with a cradle in the 1, 2, 3 victory for Seth Rollins. On the one hand, it's going to see Rollins win on a pay-per-view, getting momentum back, keeping momentum and beating another crony of Triple H, beating up Joe. His babyface turn's not been as good as people thought, because he's an example, perfect example of when a great heel turns babyface, because sometimes a great heel becomes a shitty babyface. This is one of those instances. Rollins was a great heel. As a babyface, he's not been the best. He's had his moments as babyface, as he was good, but not a lot of moments to make up for it. Now, on the other hand, Joe loses. His first pay-per-view loss. And a big question for both guys, where do they both go from here? I thought we'd see like maybe a Joe Owens alliance with Triple H, but with Owens on SmackDown, what's next for Joe, we shall see. And Rollins, same thing. Like, he beat up Triple H and his crony. What's next for Rollins? What's next for both guys after this match? We shall see if they continue or just move on. Now, on to our main event. I thought it was going to be the remaining of the House of Horrors, but it wasn't. It was Braun Strowman in his first pay-per-view main event against Roman Reigns, who we had not seen on TV since that epic beatdown from Braun Strowman on Raw a couple weeks back. He's been in house shows, but he hasn't been on TV since. And that's going to crowd back up after a little bit of a lackluster second half. Main event kind of saved the pay-per-view. Like, it wasn't the best match of the night, but the ending made everybody go home happy. Or should I say, the Mormon haters happy. Roman came out, Cole's got booed out the fucking building as usual. He got taped up a bit, selling his injuries from Raw. And he went right at Strowman. He went right at him, striking first, big fist, brought it outside, smashed him against the table. But then Strowman coming with his big moves on the outside. Then against the barricade. After being caught, going for the drive-by, he got caught. He got slammed by Strowman. Thought being up a little bit. And there goes Super Reigns. We're trying to come back with his big moves. And maybe he had a lot of spears. A couple of attempts at Superman punches. But some of those times he was trying for Superman punches. Strowman would counter. Some big moves of his own. Big kicks. Big clotheslines. It was a fight. It was a little bit better than the Fastlane match. I was trying to say, yeah, it was better than the Fastlane match. Especially with the white finish. The finish that should have been at Fastlane. So Reigns was going for the Superman punch a couple times. And he got speared a couple times. He went for Superman punches. And then Strowman would call Roman into the power slam. It was like, this is it. Strowman's gonna win. 1, 2. Damn it, Reigns' shoulder came out. Then after that, I was like, shit, Reigns is gonna win, huh? They're gonna bury Strowman again. Strowman had so much momentum regained after losing it at Fastlane, then losing it more at Mania by not winning under the Giant Battle Royal. He's been pushed so well. Don't let him lose the woman again. Thankfully, that didn't happen. So after the first power slam failed, if first you don't succeed, try again. So Strowman did a second running power slam. And the 1, 2, yeah! 3! Roman loses! Braun wins! Braun wins! I wasn't all keen on Braun when he got this big push, but he's just a big guy. He's a big giant. He's a great big man. Big giant of a guy. He's still green when it comes to some things, but he's looked like a fucking beast when he wants to be looked like a beast. He's been looking great lately after, like I said, after losing the woman at Fastlane, losing his undefeated streak. they're not able to get that momentum back at Mania by winning under the Giant Battle Royal. Instead, the win going to Mojo Rawley. What is that getting him? What's that getting him? Nowhere. Nothing. Maybe you regret giving him the win now. You only wanted the celebrity coverage with Gronk. That's why you had Mojo win. Anyway, with the ambulance segment, that was an amazing segment he did on Roman. Got momentum back up. Even though he did technically lose the dumpster match, I still believe he didn't win because he didn't close the lid. Kalisto did. And got literally buried by Strowman with that little 1 foot push off the stage, which made us wish the stage was a little bit higher to get better impact. I love Road Dogg and Billy Gunn doing that to Chainsaw Charlie and Cactus Jack. So then after the match, Strowman wasn't done. Yay, he wasn't done. He grabbed the steel steps and put it down, and then he slammed Roman Reigns onto the steps chest first. Then lifting it back up and just lifting the steps and then dropping it onto Roman's chest with Roman coughing up and bleeding out of his mouth. And the crowd just chanted, "Thank you, Strowman! Thank you, Strowman!" We hate Roman Reigns. We IWC hate Roman Reigns. You know, we just like to see him get beat up, but maybe not like this sometimes. But hey, his character deserves it, not he. Like people say, oh, Roman deserves it. The person don't deserve it. His character does. And the bookie he gets deserves the beatdown that he got from Strowman tonight. You know. So after Strowman got done with Roman and the referees all out there and the agents, including Adam Pearce and Fit Finley, he even shoved him at one point. And then walked out. Others was going to come back from behind and attack Roman once more after dumping the steps on his chest. And Roman wanted to go out on his own. He didn't want to be stretching out again. They even had a stretcher out. So that's how the pay-per-view ended. But Raw Talk, the after show, began with Roman being continued to carry out onto the ambulance. And then Strowman came out like, yeah, he's going to do it again. But then Roman went out of it and Strowman just nailed the fucking door, crushed it out of the socket, and fell into a bunch of boxes. Make Roman look strong one more time before pay-per-view. But they made Braun look strong. Despite, yeah, with him nailing the door, but it didn't hurt him. Like, trying to ambulance attack again, but getting thwarted this time with him hitting the ambulance door and falling into a bunch of boxes, and Roman Reigns not getting any further damage, didn't do any damage to Braun. The damage was done, positive damage was done to Roman Reigns. It didn't hurt Strowman like what happened with him and Kalisto. So I'll give this match 3.0. It was a good fight. And at least we don't end up, like, if Roman Reigns would have won, it would have added, people would be saying, this would be a shitty ass pay-per-view. If Roman would have won. You know what I mean? We would have been the greatest pay-per-view a lot more. It's like, damn, that's why I probably would have given it a 5.5 if Roman would have won. Because it was like, first you had a great first half, then the Orton Bray match sucked, and then Reigns won. If it would have added on to it. If Bray and Wyatt sucked and Roman won. But thankfully, Strowman won and kind of saved the pay-per-view by avoiding a shitty ending to a pay-per-view. So, there you go. Where does Strowman go from here? He probably would get the shot at the Universal Championship. There will be a title match at the new pay-per-view, Great Balls of Fire. What's next, WWE? WWE Network presents WWE Bad Romance. Use all these old song titles as pay-per-view names. I heard they were trying to bring back old pay-per-view names like Backlash, even trying to bring back Bad Blood. It was the 20th anniversary of the first Bad Blood that also had the debut of Kane and the first Hell in a Cell. But it gotta have some bad things with it. Kind of like the name Over the Edge was never used again after the death of Owen Hart, Bad Blood was the night Brian Pillman died. But they used it a couple more times as a name. So they dumped the Bad Blood name and decided to have this shitty-ass name that the entire internet's been trolling all weekend. Great Balls of Fire. Set to be July 9th in Dallas, Texas. With Lesnar defending his title then. At least he ain't waiting until SummerSlam, but still waiting a long time to defend the title. This is why I was not happy about Lesnar and Goldberg being for the Universal title. Now, are you happy now about Lesnar and Goldberg fighting for the title now? You happy now? We have another part-time champion. Like, people like this part-time title reign in 2014-15. Some people have an opinion on that. Just ask Adam from What Culture. Anyway. But, yeah, having a title there would be good. But with a 2-week pay-per-view, yeah, we maybe not want a championship match every once in a while. But still, for the title's been kind of demeaned. It's kind of a sucky-ass title. With Finn getting injured, and now we have a part-time Universal Champion. So, that title's kind of like a shitty-ass title. But Braun may challenge Lesnar for it. And hopefully his momentum picks up. If they keep pushing the way they are now, Strowman could beat the fuck out of Lesnar. We did see a little altercation the night after WrestleMania, so they could be leaning towards that, even though Lesnar wants Reigns. The two guys that beat Undertaker to face off. Hell, we could get a triple threat. But if they didn't give us a triple threat with Reigns, Undertaker, and Roman at Mania, are they going to give us a triple threat now with Reigns, Strowman, and Lesnar? We'll see if they do it. But that's it for my Payback review. Not as bad as we thought. But there are some bad things that kind of brought it down a bit. Especially the Orton Wyatt match. And thank God it's over. Thank God the feud fucking ended. So thank you so much for watching this review. With that being said, you've all been attacked by the review from Zach. See you later, everybody. Bye-bye to you.